The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation.
Hi, I'm Justin. I've been working here for, it'll be a year in May. I started to play games when I was, I think, 12. I just got the Xbox 360, and I was just delving into because my friends wanted to play with me, and I had no means of playing with them, so it was just more of a way to bond more with my friends. Well, I thought it was pretty popular on the online space, from like YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. But as I started to delve into the market, I went to school for economics, and nothing's really taught me more about supply and demand and about like how a market works more than this job right here. It's definitely more of a buyer's market right now. So with the extra stimulus money that people are getting, they're getting more money to spend on games, and they're getting just a better means of getting what they wanted, well, they always wanted, to like complete collections or you just play the games. So we have approximately 20,000 games in here. We had to reprice all these games. And we have these, like, we're pretty caught up now, but like things like In the Box for the Super Nintendo and the N64 behind me, those are influenced by like condition. So we would check eBay and VGC price charting about like what it usually sells for, and then we try to go a little bit below that so that they, like, if they just wanted to buy it on eBay and we sold it for the same price, why not just buy it on eBay? But if we lower the price here, they're willing to pay for it here. So we clean the game and we make sure that it works first for consoles and for the staple games like your Marios and stuff like that, because we know that those are going to sell pretty good. So we clean them with like a cotton swab if it's a cartridge, or we just clean the case, make sure the disc is clean. We have a disc resurfacer, and then we slap the price tag on it, put it on the shelf, and then we have a system for higher end games and the lower end games.
I'm Will Haller. My gamer tag is Wheel, which is funny to some people, but for me it's cool. I don't know, I like it. I'm mostly on PC right now, and that's just because it's like I do a lot of editing, I do a lot of like game development programming stuff. So I'm just on there anyway, so it just kind of covers all options. I had to be like, I don't know, like 3 when my dad introduced me to it, because he was like into everything when he was like really young, because he was into like Commodore 64 and like Atari and stuff. And so like, it was kind of just raised on that. It was just kind of like an inheritance, kind of. Like, he would play and then I'd be like, all right, well, it's my turn to do something. And so I just kind of started with like web browser games like Miniclip or just Flash games and stuff. And then I was just like, all right, time to like actually like play like a real game that someone spent like a year developing or something. I haven't like spent money on games recently. It's been kind of playing, like I play a lot of fighting games, and I've been playing like Guilty Gear a lot. I don't know, a lot of people are into that right now. It's done a lot of things for me socially, because like I played this game called Destiny in high school a lot. I literally had like 1,200 hours logged in that over the course of 4 years. But that was super big for me socially, just like meeting people online and just like talking to them. Just like getting to know them and just like having the first internet friend kind of thing. And then just like cooperating with people online, which is like, it seems kind of corny, but it's like, it makes sense, and it's kind of built a lot of my social interactions, or just like social confidence, I guess, especially like working with a team and just like leading and stuff, which is interesting. And then, what was it, FGC? So I've been playing fighting games for like 3 years now, like competitively / casually. So with the fighting game community, also known as the FGC, I go to locals. Well, I used to go to locals before COVID. So those are in-person events. Like they usually consist of weeklies or monthlies. You just meet up with other people offline and you just like hang out and you play games and stuff. So due to the pandemic, everybody's just been kind of like playing games online and just hanging out in Discord. So it's a little different. Like people still run tournaments for fighting games and stuff, which is great. Kind of scarce depending on like what game you play, because some of the games just don't have really good netcode and don't really like work well, like cross country and stuff. But it's definitely a lot different. I've been like branching out to play different games, and like I know a lot of other people who have just been, like dropped some games and started playing other ones. But a lot of people have been like gravitating towards like social games, myself included, and just trying to like keep connections alive. But for the most part, I've just been kind of sticking with the same crew I've been with and just hanging out with the same people. I've met a few new people in the past year, which has been great. COVID has definitely brought me to some people I don't think I've ever met before. Which is interesting, just through games I've never played or never thought of playing, but just played because other friends were playing it. But it's been different.
So my name is Jim Honaker. I started here with Justin about a year ago, right after the pandemic kind of opened back up and we were allowed to open the store. So the store itself closed down, we went to move, and then we were shut down for the pandemic. Gaming's always been a part of my life. So I'm in my now late 30s, mid to late 30s. So I started on Nintendo, Atari, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Dreamcast, Xbox, so on. So I've played every system that they've come out with. Not a big PlayStation guy, but so for me, it's always influenced everything that I've done, really. But yeah, I think we've seen some new releases. We've seen some things from, you know, makers like Limited Run bringing stuff back during the pandemic and everything. So there's a lot of new stuff coming out. There's a lot of homebrew stuff that's been probably taken off a bit more because of the pandemic. I just invested in some Kickstarter Game Boy Color games, you know, so there's a lot of stuff, yeah. I would say it's definitely a mix. But for sure, the vast majority is really about nostalgia. I mean, if you look around the store, so many NES games, Super NES games, like 64 and so on. There are still a lot of customers who go to GameStop and find that they really weren't offered what's fair in their mind. So they end up coming to us. Maybe they're getting out of gaming, maybe they're bringing their kids' consoles in or games that they've just had sitting in the basement, but we try to be as fair as possible. We try to give everybody, you know, what we can, and usually err on the better side for the customer. So we try to do a little bit better when we're selling, we try to do a little bit better when we're trading in. You know, last year when all the pandemic hit, they were actually out of school, right? Everybody got sent home from school, had to finish school completely remotely. Now they're starting to get back in a little bit and doing a hybrid thing. So for my kids, over the summers, especially when they weren't going to school last year, and even now, they're able to connect with all their friends. So there's friends from school, there's some other friends outside of school, but that's been the connection, right? So it's more important than ever for them to, you know, make sure they had the right game, make sure they had a, you know, good headset, microphone, things like that, so they can enjoy that experience and spend that time with their friends virtually. I mean, it's huge. I mean, there's worldwide competitions, there's sponsored players now, it's an industry in itself, right? So it's really big, and a lot of people love it. A lot of people dedicate a lot of time to it, a lot of effort to it. For me, it's just not really my thing. I like the console, I like the handhelds, I like different things like that. So I kind of laugh at it. My kids watch it, you know, they play online. But for me, it's just not my thing. I mean, there's nothing like having the personal connection, you know, face to face and things like that. But you know, you have to adapt a little bit, and having that at least some level of connection is really big. It's really big for the kids.
Well, my name is Evan Kulig, and my general console of choice or gaming system of choice is actually the Nintendo Switch. I mean, when we started off as a young kid, my brother got like the Game Boy, and that's kind of like the stepping stone for us as kids. Play the Game Boy games and your Pokemon. You got like those little like third-party games that you get for the kids, and then beyond that, though, our first major console was a PlayStation 1, which was a hand-me-down from our uncle. And I mean, I guess that kind of what to tear me away. I just think I still held on to those glory days of what it was like playing the Wii and the GameCube. And like I said, we went to the Wii, bunch of games right there, huge library going on, Mario Galaxy, Smash Bros. Brawl. We've played Mario Kart Wii. We've played, you name it. It's there. I just seem to keep on coming back to it because I've always had a lot of nostalgia stemming from that console. And the thing about the Nintendo it really was known for its handheld consoles. Game Boy, Game Boy SP, DS, 3DS. It just kept on evolving, and what this console is right here is the love child between handheld devices and the main home console, because you can literally take it anywhere you are, and you can plug it in and play on your TV. So it's 2-in-1, which is fantastic. I mean, during the pandemic, it definitely allowed me to relive some of those, pull out of these little archive of games that I've had for so long. Kind of relive them, like, oh, so fun. I remember this. Oh, I remember this puzzle. I had to do this and this. So it's like, it definitely helped pass the time. It also brought back some nostalgia. But when it came down to like, because you have so much time, so you have more availability to like play with family. One time, my brother came over to the house one day because he lives in Boston, and he played Smash Bros with his roommates back in his apartment. And he said, "Oh yeah, I've been playing this game and with them because they have it over. And so, do you want to play?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll play a game." Like, I never hear this from him because like it had never interested him in the past, but until recently. So he got introduced to it. I played with him again. It was a lot of fun. It really felt like we were back to when we were probably 8-10 years old, sitting down in like one of those like foldable chairs that kind of rock back and forth with their GameCube controllers, playing Smash Bros. Or some game where I know he's gonna win, but regardless, we had fun. It just brought me closer with my family and my friends. I mean, I would take the time to like, "Hey, you guys want to play a game? Yeah, sure." Crank it out and like, "Yeah, awesome. I'll catch you later," and that sort of thing. Despite how long a game, all those memories can really come back out at once, and you can really see those past like mistakes or methods that didn't work, and you can recall what did work. Subscriptions for like online, for be able to access like online content is definitely out there. It already is out there, and I think they're going to continue to do it because that's how they're going to get revenue, aside from their typical people buying the consoles and buying the games. They're definitely going to invest in like third-party markets, like Nintendo Switch or Xbox or PlayStation. They all have like Fortnite, which has like these in-game transactions where they can buy coins or stuff like that, or currency to be able to get those like aesthetics for their characters, or for like a game battle passes or something like that. And then like EA Sports, of course, they're the monopoly when it comes to like buying content to make it better for you. They're going to probably continue with that. With that practice, unless they really understand their mistakes, because no one's gonna want to play a game where they know they're gonna have to pay real money for something they can't guarantee they're gonna get.
We've seen a huge shift, right? So even in my career outside of this, Justin and I do this on the weekends, and in my career, we've had to move a lot of things virtual, and there's so many businesses today that are looking at a virtual environment from here on out, right? Businesses in Boston are going to stay closed in person, right? They're going to continue to do virtual workplace type things, right? So people are going to stay online. I mean, that's what's happening. That's going to be the future for a long time. So I don't see that changing for gaming, and honestly, we thought here we were going to see kind of a steep drop off as things opened up. It's been the opposite. It's really been the opposite. We've done more business in the past few months than we did all year, even after the stores opened up from the pandemic.
Despite the distance of how everyone was separated during the pandemic, it definitely helped bring us together, because it's a form of media that requires people to really come together. Video games are not. It's never meant to be single player game. There are games meant to be one player games, but video games are meant to be played together. That's what I kind of. It's never meant to be one player game. It's meant to be 2 players or above, because that's the only way you're able to get the flesh out the whole experience. It is a fantastic escape, and I've loved video games for as long as I have, and it's definitely helped me. Granted, nothing changed with the pandemic when it came to video games, but it definitely helped pass the time. It definitely helped me connect with my brother more. It definitely helped me connect with my friends more.